Hello friends, today I have come up with the second part of basic concepts of chemistry. Today we'll be discussing about at first the physical and chemical properties. Now, physical properties means it can be measured or observed without changing the identity or composition of the substance. For example, color, odor, melting point of any substance, boiling point of a liquid, density of a substance, all this come under the physical properties. It can be measured, observed without changing its identity. In case if we talk about chemical properties, the measurement or observation requires chemical change to occur. For example, composition of a substance and combustibility, that is how it burns, reactivity, what is the reactivity of that particular substance with acids, with bases and any other salts. All this depends upon the properties of the individual substance. So the measurement or observation requires a change, chemical change, that you call it as the properties, we call it as chemical properties. Now, for the measurement of physical properties, we have like many properties. We have length, area, volume. These are the quantitative in nature. And before we used to have two different systems, English system and metric systems. In the English system, there was no decimal calculations. So we preferred metric systems because it was more convenient, because it was based even in the decimal systems also. And later a common system, that is a standard system, was felt by the community, scientific community, and a international system of units were established, which we call it as SI. The SI system has mainly 7 base units. And based upon this 7 base units, other physical quantities are also calculated. Like if you want to calculate speed, volume, density, all these will be derived from these 7 basic units. So let us see what are the 7 basic units. The 7 basic units are length, mass, time, electric current, thermodynamic temperature, amount of substance, and luminous intensity. Now, length, the symbol of length is L. Generally, we use this term L, and the SI unit is meter. And symbol for SI unit is M. In case of mass, we have the symbol as M, and the SI unit is kilogram, and its symbol is kg. For time, we use T. Second is the SI unit, and the symbol is S. That is the first letter of second. Electric current, we represent it as I. And the name of the SI unit is ampere, and we represent it in terms of like A. We write the symbol as A. For the thermodynamic temperature, we generally use T. And the unit is Kelvin, and we represent it as K as the symbol. For the amount of substance, we use N, and we call it as mole. The SI unit, we call it as mole, and the symbol is MOL, mole. For the luminous intensity, we use I, and the name of SI unit is candela, and the symbol is CD. The SI system allows the use of prefixes also to indicate the multiples or submultiples of the unit. So if we take the multiples of 10, so multiples of 10, here we are going with the negative power, 10 to the power of minus 15, we call it as femto. That is 1 upon 10 to the power of 15 is nothing but femto. The symbol used is F. 10 to the power of minus 12, if we take, that is 1 upon 10 to the power 12, we call it as pico. The symbol is P. 10 to the power of 9, minus 9 is nano. We use a symbol as N. Nano word that generally we use nowadays. And 10 to the power of minus 6 is micro. This also we generally use. The symbol is mu. 10 to the power minus 3, we call it as milli, and the symbol is M. For 10 to the power of minus 2, we use a prefix as centi and we use a symbol as C. For 10 to the power of minus 1, we use deci and the symbol is D. If we go for the positive multiples of 10, that is 10 to the power of 1 or 10, what we call, then we use the prefix as deca and the symbol is Da. For 10 to the power of 2, we use hecto, symbol is H. For 10 to the power of 3, we generally on daily basis we use kilo and the symbol is K. For 10 to the power of 6, we use mega, symbol is M. For 10 to the power of 9, we use giga, that also a general giga, mega, all these kilo, all these are generally used by us on daily basis. The symbol for giga is G. 10 to the power 12, tera, we use T. 10 to the power 15, we use peta and the symbol is P. So some of the terms you have to remember. Okay, and some of the terms are generally used by us on daily basis, but some higher terms maybe you may remember all these peta and tera we can use. We can remember this one. And here also at the power of 10 to the power of minus 12 and 15, we use it less in the less number of times. So we can remember this. All these words are generally on daily basis we use these words, centi, milli, micro, nano and all. So we can remember the powers and we must know the symbol also for this. The next is, what is the difference between mass and weight? We use the term, both the terms mass as well as weight. Mass means it is the amount of matter present in it. The mass of any object is constant and the mass can be determined by the analytical balance in the laboratory. The unit, as we know, it is kg and the smaller units are gram, but the SI unit is kg. Okay? Gram is used in the laboratories, chemical laboratories for the measurement of chemicals and all, and 1 kg is equal to 1000 gram. But in case if we talk about the weight, weight is nothing but force exerted by the gravity on an object. This is the amount of matter present in it, mass is the amount of matter present in it, and weight is nothing but force exerted by gravity on an object. It means that it is not constant. Mass is constant, whereas weight is not constant. It varies from one place to another due to the change in the gravity. Next term is volume. Volume is nothing but the amount of space occupied by any substance. Units are units that we use in SI system. Length cube, that is meter cube. Length, if you take it as m, then meter cube. And in laboratories, we use smaller units like centimeter cube and decimeter cube. And a common unit, liter, is also will be, generally we use the term the liter also, but it is not an SI unit, but generally we use it in the measurement of volume in the liquids. Even in the labs also we use the term liter. 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml. 1000 centimeter is equal to 1 decimeter. In laboratory, the volume of liquids can be measured by a graduated cylinder, burette, pipette, etc. See, this is nothing but burette. And this is pipette. This is volumetric flask. These are the equipments that generally we use it in the laboratory. Okay, burette, pipette, and volumetric flask. Now, next term is density. Density is nothing but it is the amount of mass per unit volume. That is, mass divided by volume is density. Density of a substance tells us how closely the particles are packed. That is, if the particles are closely packed, density will be more. If they are loosely packed, density will be less. Okay. So density is equal to mass divided by volume. So if we want to know the SI unit, we can write as SI unit of mass divided by SI unit of volume. SI unit of mass is nothing but kg. In SI unit it is kg, and for SI unit of volume I said length cube, that is length is represented as meter cube as a SI unit, or we can write it as kg per meter cube. And generally chemist we use smaller units, that is gram per centimeter for measurement, easy measurement. The next term is temperature. There are three common scales used to measure temperature: degree centigrade, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin. K is the SI unit. Kelvin is nothing but the SI unit. We represent it by K, as we have already discussed. But there are three common scales: degree Celsius, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin. Now, the thermometer with Celsius scales are calibrated from 0 to 100. These are freezing point and boiling point of water. This is 0 degree centigrade is freezing point, that is in which it is converted into ice, and 100 degree centigrade is nothing but boiling point of water, that is liquid water is converted into the vapor. So this 0 degree centigrade is freezing point and 100 degree centigrade is nothing but boiling point, and in the Celsius scale we calibrated between 0 to 100. The thermometer with Fahrenheit scale are calibrated from 32 degree to 212 degree. These are freezing point and boiling point of water again, but it is in terms of Fahrenheit scale, and it will be 32 degree Fahrenheit to 212 degree Fahrenheit. Here it is 0 degree centigrade to 100 degree centigrade, that is Celsius. So if you want to know the relationship between degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit is equal to 9/5 multiplied by the value of degree centigrade plus 32. That is the conversion factor. Degree Fahrenheit is equal to 9/5 multiplied by the 9/5 degree centigrade plus 32. Whereas the conversion factor for Kelvin is degree centigrade plus 273.15. For converting degree centigrade, the relation is Kelvin is equal to degree centigrade plus 273.5. So if we have degree centigrade, the temperature in degree Celsius, then we can add it with 273.15 to get the temperature in the Kelvin. In Celsius scale, it is possible to measure temperature below 0 degree centigrade, but in Kelvin scale, it is not possible. Thank you. That's all for today. We'll come up with the next video, part 3.